Hi, this is Dr. Susan Richards from Palo Alto. She's been an MD for many years practicing here in this beautiful San Francisco Bay Area. Today we're going to recap on a couple of the testimonies that we have heard from her. So Dr. Susan, you had mentioned something about a lady who had been suffering from a huge problem with one side of her face. Can you just elaborate on that?
Yeah, that's a condition called lymphangioma. And people of all kinds get it. We see it in children, we see it in adults, we see it in boys, we see it in girls. So it's a problem where there's a congestion in the lymph, which is kind of another circulatory system besides our arteries and veins. And what happens is you get a lot of swelling of an area. So when you see this, for example, one side of a person's face can look totally normal, like a regular face, and where the swelling is, you can get a big, huge swelling of the head. So one side of the head is big and swollen, almost like a pumpkin or something, and the other side just looks normal. So, it's just a difficult issue to have cosmetically because you want to have the two sides of your face match.
Yeah.
So these are the kinds of things that I pray into all the time because as a doctor who's also a minister, I get asked to pray for all kinds of things, more unusual things. And I love to pray for people because I love to see God heal them. So I prayed for her, and it was amazing because right away, literally, that whole expanded side of the head just went back to virtually normal.
Praise God.
It was just incredible to see. And it looked like she just had the two sides of her face matching. She's just a beautiful person, very nice, very loving and sweet and good heart. And it was wonderful to see God do this wonderful healing on her. It just made me extremely happy, and to see her smiling and happy again. So it was just a beautiful thing in the Lord to experience.
Yes, and you also mentioned that it was kind of like a progressive healing because now it's totally almost 100% gone, but it didn't get there immediately.
Oh no, it went there immediately.
That's amazing.
All that she had now is 95% gone.
Oh wow.
And then even the little bit of swelling, little tiny bit. Like imagine you having a big cut on your wrist and 95% of it's healed. There's virtually hardly anything to see. And God being as good as He is, He'll just, even if there's a little tiny bit, He'll just kind of take it down.
Wow, wonderful.
So he's wonderful.
Yeah, that is amazing. I remember you also mentioned something about a lady who's had severe blood pressure problems.
I see that all the time. My goodness, I get so many testimonies of blood pressure and, heart symptoms that might lead toward heart attack, a ton of strokes. That's something you see all the time in doing both medicine and in doing the healing medical ministry that I do. When the blood pressure gets too high, you are at risk of a stroke or even a heart attack. So you really want to keep blood pressure down. It's something in the medical field we take very seriously. They don't like it to get much above 130/80. It used to be 140/90, but they're getting more and more strict. And your doctors will be very quick to put you on medication. So we have millions and millions of people in this country on anti-hypertensive, blood pressure regulating medication. This woman is very typical of many, many people that I see where the blood pressure is anything from moderately high, which is dangerous in itself, to super high, where it just goes, high to the level that the doctors might even put you in the hospital till they regulate you. It's considered dangerous. So I love praying for people at any of these levels because invariably God heals them and the blood pressure comes way down, and it's a beautiful thing to see because they feel better. When the blood pressure is high, you can have a horrible headache where you literally feel like your head is just going to
pulsating, I guess,
come off, it's so painful. And you can have things like nosebleeds occasionally. But the worst thing is, if it affects you and causes a stroke or a heart attack or anything like that. So, these are wonderful healings where the blood pressure drops back down.
So what exactly happened when this lady went to the church that you were ministering at?
Well, she had a very, very high, seriously high blood pressure. She shouldn't have been with me at the church. She should have been with her doctor. And often people will bring a device with them where they can recheck their blood pressure. I've seen this at different times in different churches where they actually have something there where they can test their blood sugar level if they're diabetic, or they have, the capacity to check their blood pressure, and the blood pressure had dropped. That was incredible. Wonderful. Another case recently that I had worked with was a woman at another church who had a rapid heartbeat. That's what we call tachycardia. That's really dangerous too, like atrial fib, where the heart rate can go really high. It can go, not 50, 60, 70, 90, even 100, but it goes, up to much higher, 150, 200. The worst case I ever saw, the heart rate went up to 400. I've never seen anything that horrible. The fellow who had this almost didn't make it. He almost died. They kept ending up at the emergency room, and they kept trying to fix his heart. And God completely healed him. His heart rate is totally normal. God's the one that fixed the atrial fib. They wanted to do surgery on him, and he ended up not needing it. And this other woman has had years of a rapid heartbeat, dangerously high. They keep testing her and trying to work with it from the medical side. And she said she was in the middle of the service, and she said all of a sudden she tested her pulse, she tested her heart rate, and it was completely normal. She said it was down to like around 70.
Wow.
And that's an incredible healing from the Lord, because this hadn't happened for her. She said she just constantly runs a really high heart rate. So
wow, that's an amazing testimony.
It's an incredible blessing from God.
It is. It's such a blessing to hear these stories.
Blessings. Yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you for joining us, and
I'm so
stay
happy to
tuned
be here.
for the next time we have an interview.
Bless you all.